In the heart of the Isle de la Cité, within the walls of the former Palais Royal in Paris, stands one of the most sublime works of Gothic art, the Sainte-Chapelle. This palatine chapel, built in the 13th century, is not only a testament to the religious fervor of the medieval period, but also a supreme example of architecture that transforms light into a spiritual experience. With its stunning stained-glass windows and its history linked to sacred relics, the Sainte-Chapelle remains one of the most admired and visited monuments in the French capital. The Sainte-Chapelle was commissioned between 1242 and 1248 by King Louis IX of France, better known as Saint Louis, King of France. Its main purpose was not only to serve as a royal chapel, but also to house one of the most valuable collections of Christian relics. Among them, the crown of thorns and fragments of the true cross, venerated objects that the king acquired for astronomical sums from the Emperor of Constantinople. By building a chapel of such magnificence, Louis IX not only demonstrated profound religious devotion, but also the power of the French monarchy as protector of Christianity. The chapel was completed in record time for its time, which reflects the effort and resources devoted to it. The building is divided into two levels: the lower chapel, used by the palace staff, and the upper chapel, intended for the king and the safekeeping of the relics. It is in this upper chapel that the Sainte-Chapelle reveals its unparalleled splendor. The true protagonist of the space is a set of 15 monumental stained-glass windows that cover almost the entire walls of the upper chapel. Sainte-Chapelle. These windows, which reach up to 15 meters in height, depict more than 1,100 biblical scenes, from Genesis to the resurrection of Christ. Each panel is read from bottom to top, following a visual narrative that immerses the faithful in a mystical and educational experience through the colored light filtering through the glass. Believers not only observe the sacred stories, but we're also immersed in an atmosphere that suggested closeness to the divine. The architectural style of the Sainte-Chapelle is a refined example of radiant Gothic, a phase of French Gothic characterized by large openings for stained-glass windows, and a structure that, rather than massive, appears ethereal. The columns are slender, the vaults high, and the ornamentation delicate, all designed to accentuate the verticality and the effect of lightness. The building acts as a kind of monumental reliquary, not only because it contains sacred relics, but because it itself becomes an object of devotion. The Sainte-Chapelle has suffered difficult times over the centuries. During the French Revolution, many of its relics were dispersed or destroyed, and the building was converted into an archive, causing considerable damage. However, in the 19th century, a thorough restoration was undertaken, led by architect Eugene Viollet-le-Duc, who was responsible for restoring the chapel to its original splendor, following criteria that blended historical documentation with certain romantic idealization of the medieval past. Today, the Sainte-Chapelle is not only a tourist attraction, but also a cultural and spiritual symbol of France. Despite its small size compared to other Parisian churches, such as Notre Dame or Sacré-Cœur, its intimate beauty and visual richness make it an unforgettable experience. Upon entering, visitors are dazzled by the intensity of the colors, the delicacy of the stained glass windows, and the harmony of the architecture. Many describe it as a box of light or a symphony in glass, and it's not hard to understand why. Furthermore, the chapel also lives on as a musical space. Classical music concerts are frequently held inside, particularly by Baroque and medieval composers, creating a perfect fusion of architecture, history, and sound art. Listening to a string quartet while the evening light tinges the stained glass windows is, without a doubt, one of the most magical experiences you can have in Paris. The Sainte-Chapelle is not just a Gothic jewel or a royal reliquary. It is a tangible manifestation of the human desire to connect with the transcendent through art, to transform matter, stone, glass, gold, into a bridge to the eternal. In an age like ours, dominated by speed and ephemerality, this sanctuary of light invites us to pause, look up, and marvel at the power of beauty as a path to the sacred. If you want to know other interesting stories, you can follow my YouTube channel, Frank Fernandez Historia.